talk about some real ass shit. There's some problems I go through all the time. I cannot understand. You're probably going through the same things. Why can I assume that you're going through the same things? That's the power of this video. There's an amazing awakening I've realized. We're one. We are one. Literally. There is no you and me. There is only us. There is not them and they. It's just all of us. There is no this and that. There is all that is. Because there is two aspects that coincide to become one single thing in life. Fear and love. The spectrum goes from fear to love. And most people believe that it's fear to love. You go from having fear, being afraid, producing fear, to unconditionally being loved, enlightened, and full of bliss. It's like a linear path. You're enlightened, or you can even put it the other way around. You're here. You're afraid. You're constantly manipulating people. You're feeling terrible. You're feeling like shit, and you're always treating people like shit. That's because you're afraid of your true nature. Then you keep going up all the levels, degrees, perceptions, call it what you want, echelons. Finally, you get here. You arrive where you're enlightened. You're full of love. You're full of bliss and experience. There's nothing in the world that makes you feel better than this. You're enlightened. Is that how it really works? Because I've realized I've been here, and sometimes I've been in the same place, here and there. It's like, I'm very enlightened. I feel very blissful. And I still have desires. I still feel kind of animalistic at times. I still feel like I want a shoddy. Like I want a girlfriend. Like I want to fuck. Like I want to have sex. Because I'm a human being. And there is bodily desires, carnal sensations, and cardinal passions. There is spiritual progression, spiritual ascension, spiritual materialization. And there is no unity if there is no both aspects coming into one single vehicle, vessel. You are a vehicle and a vessel for consciousness to experience itself in the world, in the earth, in the face of this planet. That's why you're experiencing yourself the way you are. Nothing is ever wrong. Nothing is ever going bad. Nothing is ever going the wrong way. Everything is perfect as it is. That's why that's the title of this video. You are perfect the way it is. You're suffering because you believe you're not. You're afraid because you believe you're not. You're constantly consuming yourself because you believe you're not perfect as you are. You're always consuming from the outside, like, and that's what will make you feel fulfilled from within. And this can start like words. You can listen. You can admire people. You can literally project the recognition that people outside of you are more admirable than you, and they are mentors for you that are teaching you things. You can start consuming knowledge by reading books, watching courses, educating yourself, learning from other people. You're consuming knowledge. Then you start progressing, ascending, and realizing, and you start consuming people's energy, the way they speak, the way they act, the way they are being, their personalities, the way they are. That's like the next level. And then let's go right back down. You start consuming people, food, people's energy, people's way of being, the food they are, their cardinal passions. You literally start consummating by consummating with them, the intercourse that you do with them, the intercourse that you decide to choose from them. That's consummating. You're consuming their energy, quite literally. Then you start consuming food, burgers, fruit, whatever you decide to eat, and you cannot stop eating, and you have desires like those munchies, that sugar that you get, that desire for something to fill you from within. That is consuming from the outside. Then you start going even deeper and you start consuming situations. You're always looking for the next situation that will make you happy, and you're like constantly dopamine fixing, like where am I gonna get my next hit of dopamine kind of thing. You're like, you're kind of like a dopamine junkie, and you're always looking for that situation that can give you a little bit of that sense of energy of dopamine. See how I'm producing it for myself right now? That's kind of like what you can produce when you're available for yourself. When you're available in your mind, in your body, and in your experience, you can start consuming your own sense of dopamine, your own sense of satisfaction, your own self, because that's the next level. We've gone through all the levels, right? You start consuming all the things you've consumed up until now, and then finally, you consume yourself. You start going within. When you start going within, your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, all the belief systems, everything that you've cultivated from within yourself, you start consuming it. And that's why you're suffering. Because you're consuming. You're like a vacuum. Like Pac-Man. You're like Pac-Man. And that's constantly believing. That's you constantly believing. You're constantly believing that by consuming, you're gonna finally get at some point where, oh, that's it. I'm fulfilled. I'm enlightened. Jesus Christ. Quite literally, Jesus Christ. Like Christ consciousness. You're eventually going to reach Christ consciousness where you feel like bliss. You're serving. You're in servitude to the world without sacrificing yourself through consuming. Hard to believe that's not going to happen. The way you achieve, accomplish, and reach the level at the destination, the point where you finally feel enlightened, where you finally realize your whole self, doesn't come through consumption. It comes through absorption. What does this mean? What does this man say? Consumption leads nowhere. Absorption leads everywhere. It leads everywhere because whatever you absorb, integrate, and then finally realize, you're becoming a part of. So say I'm in a situation filled with love. I receive a hug from somebody. Somebody unconditionally, lovingly hugs me. I absorb that, integrate that into my body, and then become part of that love. That energy is now transmitted, transmuted, and finally transcended from within me. There's no need to go finding for that because I received it. I opened my heart, opened myself. I opened myself to receiving it. That's the power of holding yourself as truth, as receiving, as a constant surrendering that is constantly receiving, emanating from within like a pulse. And you're not consuming from the outside. You're actually just opening yourself out until finally you find someone, something, somewhere that is attracted and perfectly fits. Because I don't know if you realize by now, all of this we're talking about is going in degrees, in levels, in spirals, up, and ascending. We've started very, very dense. Like, we're gonna talk about some real shit. And now we're going deep into why absorption is only a pathway to realize yourself, to finally ascend to the highest level of awakening so that you can feel present. The present moment has all these experiences. All these experiences that we're talking about, they're only concepts, ideas, and imagination coming from my mind, my mouth, and my heart because I've experienced it. So all you're doing is absorbing concepts. So if you're able to absorb all the concepts that I'm sharing with you, integrate them, totally integrate them, and finally transcend them within you, you'll start experiencing everything that I'm talking about. Instead of thinking about what I said and just putting it in the back of your mind like it's a possibility,